Hey, how's it going? This is Adventure Vin with another YouTube video coming out. I'm gonna break away from the KLR 650 trend right now. I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about some other things. I am gonna be doing an oil change and a fluid change later on, and I'll be videotaping that. Videotaping is a term I think like from the 80s and 90s. I won't be videotaping it. I will be digitally recording it. But just real quick, I got all my supplies set up there for a coolant and coolant exchange and oil and filters, air filter and oil filter. But what I'm really wanted to talk to you guys is this last 24 hours. So my daughter went to VidCon here in Anaheim. We live in Riverside. So my daughter went to VidCon and she went a couple of days in a row, and then there was something called a TanCon that happened, and she had some really unique stories. I don't want to say anything negative or positive about VidCon or this TanCon, because number one, I wasn't there myself, and I'm still very new to the whole YouTube environment, and don't know what expectations should be. But I tell you, it's just this movement of individuals, personal people, going out there and videotaping, vlogging, doing these different things, and having such huge followings is amazing for me to see. Where they're more interested in this generation is more interested in personal people entertaining than we are in actual movies and what's known as movie stars. I think when I was her age, and I would be the boy bands that all these girls wanted to clamor after, and it were these performers. But now it's just people like you and me that hold each other's interest for entertainment. So we went to go rendezvous with her last night at Universal Studios in Hollywood after she was hanging out with her friends. So I think she went to this VidCon thing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So then Saturday night we rendezvous with her, and as some of you may know, I'm a huge Back to the Futures fan. So we go into Universal Studios, and I hadn't been there for years, and I come across this shirt I'm wearing, and I'm trying to get in frame here. And so it says, "Roads, where we're going, we don't need roads," which is one of my mottos with the KLR. So I had to have it. So I picked it up. It ended up being, I think, 27, 28 bucks, including tax. Walking out, as soon as I walked out of the store, I punch up Back to the Future t-shirt on Amazon. $21, free shipping. I knew better, but it was one of those impulse buys, and I just thought it was exactly what I was looking for. A t-shirt from my Route 66 trip that reflected on my KLR attitude of we don't always need roads. I like to go off roads. Of course, the saying is for the hovercraft, flying, but for the KLR 650 motorcycle, I like to think of it more as a going off-road. So I found this. I think it's really cool. I'll be taking it on my Route 66 trip with me. But if anyone else is interested, especially if you don't live in Southern California, Amazon will get it to you for like $21. And it's really thin material too. It's like almost like paper thin. I don't think it'll even last my ride, but I wanted it, so I got it. Also, being that I'm a Back to the Future fan, I wanted to show you guys some things. So I am running my flux capacitor these days. There's my flux capacitor. I don't keep that plugged in all the time, of course. And then just to show you, I have what was that? I got my plutonium and my flux capacitor there. Oh, and then way down here, we all know it's dangerous to mess with 1.21 gigawatts. So, and here's another far off view. So it's going to be interesting to see who chimes in on this video. This is really kind of a more relaxed thing, just to talk freely to anybody who's watching. I know some of you are interested in the KLR motorcycle itself, and what I do with it. That'll be a video later on today while I'm changing. I'll be working on my my Happy Trail Nerf bars, showing them how to retract, and I'm going to be changing the fluids. Other people are more interested in the destination. Two movie threads that I will be incorporating in my videos and on my trip. A lot from Back to the Future, and then also Apocalypse Now. I'm in the Air Force now, but when I was in the Army, I was a Cav Scout, 19 Delta Cav Scout, and there's my Cav cross sabers there. And so I was a Cav Scout, and there's a few scenes in there. So if you're in the Army, if you know Apocalypse Now, you know what a Cav Scout is. We all watched Apocalypse Now. But later on today, after I got doing the fluid changes, we may have some entertaining videos for you with Doc from Back to the Future might be coming here in person and explaining to us how this KLR 650 motorcycle is able to travel through time. And that'll be very interesting. I think you guys will get a good kick out of that. But that's what I really wanted to say just now, just to kick off today. I just needed a break. I was going to work on my motorcycle back there on my side yard. You see my F350. It's a 95 Power Stroke diesel. And then my trailer. I had it all set up over there, but it's a really beautiful, hot California day where most people would be out there riding motorcycles. But I really need to get to this maintenance and start taking care of some stuff I've been neglecting. Fluid changes. I got to change the brake handle out. Filter changes, including the air filter. And so that'll be some interesting, detailed KLR 650 videos I'll be doing. So I'm going to wrap this one up. Thanks for listening to my VidCon presentation. Oh, I gotta say this. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this is we went to Universal last night, and I know nothing about Harry Potter. Nothing at all. I'm not interested. Never had been. My wife and my two daughters, they've read all the books. They've watched all the movies. They could tell you characters. They can quote it like I quote Back to the Future or Apocalypse Now, something like that. And so when I went there, I went into this town. I don't even know what the town's called. My wife was explaining it to me. But I go into this town, and the first effect is the set design and the architecture and the structures. Just, I've never experienced them. Not even Disney had come close. I'm a huge Disney fan, and I love Main Street. I really do. But I walked in, and it was amazing how big these things were and how detailed these structures were. I don't know if they have that in Orlando. I don't know if anyone's planning on coming out to Southern California on vacation this summer. But I'm telling you, I have nothing about Harry Potter, but I could have spent all day just walking in this town. It was just amazing. It was amazing. And there's two rides that were there. One's a simple roller coaster, which I really didn't go on. The other one, I don't know the name of it, and I wish I had a map to show you. But it's in the big castle, this big castle structure looking thing. And it's so hard to explain. If you've been on Soaring Over California, we're looking at the big screen, and it's pitching and yawing and turning, and it's like you're flying in the hang glider, California Adventure, which is now Soaring Over America, and I haven't done that yet. It's a mix between that and actually being on Pirates of the Caribbean, where you're going through the sets. So at one point, you're looking at a movie screen, and you're articulating and simulating this flying sequence. And then it flies, and then in the movie scene, you're going into a building, and then the ride goes down the track, and you enter into the building, the structured building, where you have all the other special effects, but the real tangible, it's unbelievable. I will say this, if you get to Universal Studios and anywhere in the near future, I would highly recommend using the single rider line. When I went on, not even knowing anything about Harry Potter, I did the single rider line, I walked right on the ride. I was so amazed. I walked off the ride, went right back in line as fast as I can get off the ride and back on. That's how quick it was. I got back on a second time. I did it a third time. I started getting nauseous. I started getting dizzy, disoriented. So I had to stop it at that point. But on the third time I went around, I tried harder to look at the infrastructure and how this was actually moving around and how they're actually able to do it. It's just an amazing ride. It's an amazing ride. Got to do it once, maybe twice if you like. 3 times is a max, because then you'll start getting like seasick. But it is way awesome. The other thing I did was, which I don't scare easily, I went through this Walking Dead walkthrough from the AMC channel. I'm sure you guys know of The Walking Dead. And I'll tell you what, don't go in that alone. It really plays with your mind on what you see and who's coming at you, what's real, what's not. But that was really interesting, The Walking Dead and this Harry Potter thing. So just was really excited about it. I wanted to talk about my wife. I wanted to talk about my daughter's experience as she related to my wife. They were in contact a lot on the whole VidCon experience. She's 14 years old, and I thought that was a good experience for her. And I'll let her tell her story if she wants. But very interesting to see how powerful and this huge movement of YouTube is. And I'm really happy to be a part of it right now. And then the Universal piece was just amazing. I mean, that Harry Potter thing. Well, I'm wrapping it up. Don't remember to like, subscribe. If you're riding on a motorcycle, get out there and ride. And remember, life's an adventure. Make your journey a great one.